I'm Kier from In Defense Of, a podcast member of the Gonna Geek Network, just like the one you're listening to now. The opinions expressed are those of each individual. Check out all the other podcasts at GonnaGeekNetwork.com and get ready, because geekiness begins in 3, 2, 1.
This is it. The part of your week where you get to put your headphones on, relax, and listen to a bunch of geeks geek out about geeky things. They're passionate.
I'm an IT guy. You should never delete. Most of the time you delete, you regret deleting.
They rage.
You guys are being like hypersensitive with your point to be offended. Oh, he deleted his Twitter account. Oh, I'm mad. What?
And sometimes they're even funny.
Tell your wife that I said hello again and sorry I couldn't be there tonight.
It's okay. Your wife says hi too.
Let me emphasize that. Sometimes. Welcome to the GonnaGeek.com podcast.
Hello and welcome to episode 125 of the official GonnaGeek.com podcast. If you're watching live, you might be going, wait, what's going on? Where's all the fancy overlays, the fancy production? Well, our leader, our producer, one Mr. President, aka Stephen Big Papa John Drew, he's on an airplane right now, so he obviously cannot be producing the podcast.
Leaving on a jet plane.
And we just burned up fair use, so don't sing anymore, please. So,
you got it.
I'm Chris Farrell. Joining me today, we have the one, the only pioneer of Stargate's Stargate Pioneer.
Hey guys, what's going on? This is exciting. It's an exciting week. We got Christmas coming up. We had comic book shows wrap up last week. We got Star Wars this week.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And evidently, the French-Canadian sensation kind of forgot about the cultural phenomenon I like to call Star Wars coming out on Thursday night. What's up, JS?
Holy moly! I forgot. Time goes by fast. It's okay. I'm not going to go see it the first week.
It does. 38 years. It went by so quickly. It's just awesome. I just saw some newsreels of some people waiting in line and outside of the China Theater in LA. There's a couple that's going to get married. They came from Australia. I believe it's Australia, not New Zealand. They're going to get married right before. And they were asked, so what's more important, Star Wars or the marriage? And they were like, well, I guess the marriage, but it's important to be here too.
It depends on whether Star Wars is good or not. I think that determines what's more important. If Star Wars is bad, the marriage is most definitely more important.
We are 48 hours away from those reviews coming out, so we will see.
We are 48 hours away from me muting the hashtag Star Wars until I go and see the movie.
So lots of great stuff coming up. Do we want to get into some news? Because this is a heavy news week.
I think we just better roll into the news right now.
All right, here we go.
So this week, I'll start things off for the news. We touched on this one last week by saying, hey, Star Trek Beyond trailer's coming. It's going to be attached to the Star Wars Force Awakens, and how cool that was. Then the internet came in and got a leaked copy of the Star Trek Beyond trailer, including the Japanese version, which my buddy sent to me this morning first. He goes, hey, check this out, it's Star Trek. And I opened it, I'm like, but this is Japanese.
It's like Star Blazers with American voiceovers. It's great.
So if you hadn't heard, the Star Trek Beyond trailer is officially out now because it got leaked and Paramount got out ahead of it and released the full, 1 minute and 47 second long trailer?
1 minute, 30 some odd seconds on their YouTube.
134. 134.
I watched it on some other person's YouTube channel, so they put their own pre-show and post-roll, so I guess that's what threw it off for me. But so the trailer's out. I got to ask you guys, what's your first thoughts on the new Star Trek?
It looks like they're trying to make a comedy out of it.
I like to think of it as the Star Trek and the Furious, is what it looked like to me.
I'm going to boycott it.
Really?
Well, they destroy the Enterprise. Really? Why? I mean,
because the Enterprise blows up in Star Trek number 3.
It has to. Remember, Star Trek 3 means Enterprise go boom, so we have to follow that same path.
It doesn't have to. Khan didn't die.
Yes,
He's still alive.
It doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to kind of follow. They have to go on a planet.
They don't have to do anything. This is Simon Pegg not expanding out of the box.
I think it's cool. Again, let's judge when the movie comes out. But didn't the Enterprise blow up at the end of the second movie? No, that was the other ship that crashed.
It just got destroyed almost, and then they fixed it, and they were about to leave on the 5-year mission. So Star Trek Beyond is supposed to be the beginning of the 5-year mission. Evidently, it's a short mission because it looks like Kirk loses the Enterprise pretty quickly on in the trailer. Now, I could be wrong.
Well, that could be just the trailer.
That could be. Did anyone else pick up a vibe of like Guardians of the Galaxy mixed with Fast and the Furious with this?
I did. You know, it's Simon Pegg that's doing it, right? So it's obviously he's bringing the comedy. So we'll see. And some of my favorite Star Trek movies have comedy in it, like Insurrection.
Insurrection is one of your favorite Star Treks?
It's a nice story. I like it. Data plays in haystacks.
I mean, I like that they're bringing back, like, I believe they're bringing Vulcans in and the Remans.
It looks sort of like Remans in the trailer, but I think they want us to think that. So I honestly have no idea what this alien race is.
But I mean, the alien race wouldn't really change, would it? I mean, they only changed the continuity of the timeline. They didn't change the races.
We haven't seen all of the races in the Star Trek universe. Mind you,
the Klingons are changed a little bit, but
yes, they did change Klingons around a little bit, but it's still recognizable as Klingon though. So I was surprisingly okay with that.
And what's with Spock's funny haircut?
What's with Kirk's funny haircut was what I was wondering.
I have funny haircuts. I like how we're criticizing it, a quite enjoyable trailer by commenting on little.
So it was enjoyable, but did it feel like Star Trek to you? That's the question I had. And the reason I bring that up, I was trolling through my Twitter before we started the show, and I saw a post from one Will Wheaton. You guys might remember him as Wesley Crusher. Yes. So his tweet read, and I'll quote it here directly, he said, "I saw the weirdest trailer today. It was for a generic science fiction action movie, but it was all dressed up in in Star Trek costumes."
he would know all about generic.
Yeah, it's a different flavor of Star Trek. It looks interesting. I think it goes back to one of my complaints I have with the new Star Trek is it feels more like Star Wars than Star Trek to me. And
look, let's be honest, Star Trek didn't work at the movie theaters. It wasn't working anymore. So whatever, they can't go back to the old Star Trek. It didn't work. People didn't go. It was just us geeks. Mind you, there's more socially acceptable now, but bad movies are bad movies. I don't think they can go back. They have to make these Fast and the Furious in space type movies now. That's what sells.
Well, obviously they're up to Fast and the Furious 7, and they've already said they're doing 8 and spin-offs now. I mean, the cinema tastes have changed some. That's not necessarily bad.
I think Star Trek deserves better.
I agree. I agree as well, but is Star Trek going to get better? No.
Yeah, so unless somebody comes along like Disney and buys them out, it's not a Disney sort of thing. So they're going to be the Warner Brothers of the comic book universe. You know, they're just not going to get the big ambiance that Star Wars is getting right now. It's just not going to happen. I feel sorry about it because it's out of the two. If I had to choose, I'd go Star Trek just based on like The Wrath of Khan is better than a Star Wars movie, just barely, but it is. So I don't know. The trailer, it was fun, but a week out from Star Wars, or even if I saw it in the Star Wars theater, which I guess we're still going to do it. I'm just like, I don't know.
You know what's really? Oh, sorry, I was going to say. Go ahead,
Jess.
I was going to say what's really, really, really bad is we're kind of like trashing on this new Star Trek reboot, and we're completely forgetting that the person who's rebooted this is the person who's rebooting Star Wars, and we're all like sold our souls to the new Star Wars that we haven't seen yet.
But to be fair, he's not doing this Star Trek. He pulled out of Star Trek to go and do Star Wars. It is his production company that is doing it.
What I mean is this new Star Trek reboot is his. It's still his. He's still like it's his universe at this point.
Yeah,
like
true. So he blew up Vulcan, which I didn't like, and then in the second movie, the whole thing with Khan, I didn't like that either. So he made mistakes. To me, he made mistakes in both movies, and you're right. He's got the Star Wars movie, so I can only hope that Disney went in and made things better, just like George Lucas had somebody body checking him in the first 2 movies that he produced. So I don't know. We'll see. We're less than a week away. I'm just going to enjoy it in the theater.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see where they go with Star Trek. I've gone on record before that I'm not very comfortable with this current Star Trek universe, but I want to see it. I'm intrigued to see what happens. I like a lot of the characters and the actors they have in there. Like, Carl Urban is fantastic as Dr. McCoy. Every time I see him on screen, I'm like, oh man, this is DeForest Kelley reincarnated, basically.
You know, that's my favorite part of the trailer was Carl Urban standing back to back with Spock and said, oh, at least we're not going to die together. And then Spock gets transported out of there. And he's like, oh, that figures. I mean, that's great.
He says he wasn't going to die alone this time.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't tell. We'll see. Again, the second movie wasn't that great in my opinion. It's still a good movie. It's entertaining, but it's a
popcorn movie.
Yeah, it wasn't.
I'm more intrigued to see what they do with the Star Trek TV show that's going to CBS's streaming site. What do we say? Late 2016 or something like that. I can't remember the date now.
I can't either, but it's coming out like they're going to do the pilot on CBS and then they're going to stream everything else. So,
yeah. So it's kind of been a big trailer week. I had one other one I wanted to mention for you guys. Did you see the trailer for the new Independence Day also dropped?
Yeah, I did. That was so awesome. In comparison, I'm like, oh, this is the big trailer. I watched it a couple of times. I researched it. I went to the warof1996.com website.
Oh, I didn't check the website. How is it?
It gives you all the background. It tells you what happens to Colonel Hilliard, and I won't spoil it for anybody that hasn't seen it yet, but it gives you the background of the last 20 years and how we got from 1996 to 2016, which is when the movie's coming out.
So I haven't gone to War of 1996 yet. We talked about it a little bit because I knew some of the stuff that was on there from reading articles online. I'm intrigued with that way to market a movie. Be like, hey, we know it's been 20 years and you fans are clamoring to know what's happened between now and then. So we're going to build a website. We're going to sprinkle out the news and give you guys more and more updates as we get closer to the movie. I think that's a unique way to bring fans in.
The site was a little difficult to navigate, right? And I'm glad I actually did it. And I haven't tried the mobile version, but I'm glad I did it on a computer. But it had some interesting tidbits in there. It took me through all the ways. There were more close together tidbits at the beginning. But I particularly liked in 2011, I won't spoil anything, but in 2011, there's a tech infusion of what had happened. And you just got to go take a look at what they said the alien technology brought us. And I chuckled at it. It was great.
And so for those that are wondering, we already know Will Smith said he was not coming back to do the new Independence Day. So the warof1996.com website is what explains why his character is not back for Independence Day 2. It's intriguing. I was happy to see Jeff Goldblum back, though. But the problem is he looks just like his character from a show I watched called The League, who is nothing at all like the scientist he plays in Independence Day. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, where's my funny jokes? Where's my sarcasm and wit making fun of people? I didn't get any of that.
Well, he's a different character. And again, I won't spoil it, but he is a major character of the 20 years in between 1996 and 2016.
Hey, and the president's got a massive beard now.
That was awesome.
I want a beard like that. I'm working on it.
You have a beard like that.
My beard's not that big yet.
It'll get there.
It's getting there. I did realize I was old, though, when I started seeing gray strands in my beard, and I went, oh.
So, JS, what did you think of the trailer? You saw it, right?
Yeah, it looked good. There's some things that I guess I wasn't too impressed with the jet fighters flying through space there, but apart from that, I mean, I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting that trailer at all. I knew they were making a sequel. I didn't know that it was this close to being ready. It's probably already close to being done, and they're just waiting for July 4th to release it, right?
Yeah, I think that's about right. I think they're probably doing a lot of the special effects and finishing that up right now, but they're done filming, I wager, based off the trailer. I'm in the same boat as Jess. I wasn't really expecting it. I was out to dinner on Sunday night, and it popped up on my Facebook feed like, oh, the Independence Day trailer's out. I'm like, oh yeah, they are doing a new Independence Day. I should watch that. And I was like, okay, this is fun. It's just another summer popcorn movie. That's all it really is. Like Independence Day 1 is not the greatest film in the universe or anything like that. It's a movie. You go hang out with some friends. You watch, like, okay, that was fun. It's like pre-Michael Bay explosions galore kind of entertainment. There's still explosions, but there's actually a bit of a story at least.
Well, story. But what can be considered a story?
Independence Day for the world, man. It's not an American thing anymore.
It's not.
I did have to say I loved how they cut in the speech from the original movie and put that in the trailer and then had it cut off at the very end as the aliens were attacking.
Yeah, that was great.
Entertaining to me. And plus, I love that speech. It's one of those iconic things in movies. You've got a few things like Harrison Ford screaming, "Get off my plane." That's one that everyone knows. A bunch of people know the speech from Independence Day because it became a cultural phenomenon almost. I can't explain it.
The ship that lands at the end of the trailer looks amazing. The huge ship.
And here's the thing to think, they aren't even done with all the special effects work. So that's probably an early version of it. God knows what it's going to look like when they put the actual flick out.
Well, the special effects in 1996 or 95, 94, 95, probably when they were doing it, because it probably took that long to render, versus the special effects that are available today. It's obvious it's going to be better, and I just can't wait to see it. I really can. It's going to be a fun summer movie. It's a must-see movie for me. Yes. Star Trek is going to have to do a little bit more to get me in the theater on opening weekend.
Oh, I'll go see Star Trek. I already know it because I loved Star Trek as a kid and I still do. It's one of those ones I'll go and see. I'll go see Independence Day in one of the first 2 weeks it's out. We're getting into that period where I'm like, oh yeah, it's really good to be a geek.
It is. Lots of geeky movies coming up. So
I know.
These are two that just fit in 2016. So we'll see. But we have another great movie coming out in just a few months, don't we, Chris?
In February, we have the Deadpool movie coming out. And I know a lot of people will mock, but I think it'll be a funny, adult-oriented, ridiculous comedy with action tossed in. And if you hadn't noticed yet, they're doing what they call 12 Days of Deadpool leading us up to Christmas. There's a funny little trailer out there with Ryan Reynolds in the Deadpool suit, but the basic takeaway is every day for the next 12 days, they're going to be posting some new scenes from Deadpool on a variety of different websites. If you go and watch the video, it'll give you the updates where you can find that, culminating on Christmas Day with, I believe, it's probably what is the final trailer for Deadpool the movie. So it's a Christmas gift to from Deadpool to the fans.
I saw something and said, wow, this is great. Deadpool's doing a great job as playing Ryan Reynolds.
That's hilarious. Ryan Reynolds already ruined Green Lantern, and he can't ruin Deadpool because he basically is Deadpool.
Gonna be fun.
Ruined? He destroyed.
Oh, come on, guys. I enjoyed that movie. I'm going to go watch that movie again.
You did not enjoy that movie.
I did too.
No one enjoyed that movie.
It was great.
So
Ryan Reynolds didn't even enjoy that movie.
No, SP, if you had to rate that movie on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate Green Lantern?
Oh, I would put it above the original Daredevil movie.
Really?
That's not saying much, but okay.
Really?
Director's cut or original cut?
Director's cut was okay.
Yeah, I don't know if I would put it above Elektra. And Elektra for me is just above Daredevil too.
What?
So. Yep.
Okay.
Elektra is hot garbage, that movie. It is absolutely awful. Are you just trolling me right now?
It's a big piece of slag.
We watched it on Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. before the Daredevil Netflix series came out, and I enjoyed it. In the special effects in Daredevil, really, I didn't see it in the theaters, right? So the first time I saw that movie knowingly was, and I'd seen bits and parts on TV and Saturday afternoon movies or whatever, but the first time I watched it was last year, so it just didn't hold up for me, guys. I'm sorry. I know you guys watched it in the theater. I didn't.
I didn't see Elektra in theaters.
All I could say is we all enjoyed the Dune movies, but we can all admit it's a horrible movie. It's the same for this.
So I look in the chat room and Says Me gives Green Lantern a 3.1 rating.
You know what? I enjoyed Battlefield Earth because he was so bad. That's my revelation of today.
I bet you could make a pretty good drinking game out of the Battlefield Earth movie.
I'm sure.
That movie was so bad. Holy moly.
Was it worse than Transfer 6?
Never seen Transfer 6.
Yeah, don't. Don't do it. Wayne convinced me. He drugged me on the whole thing all the way. And he did say it was because to get to 6, the dude turns into a chick. So he's like, oh, you got to see this. I'm like, no, you don't. You really don't. Anyway, yes, Deadpool is coming out. Ryan Reynolds is doing a great thing. The 12 Days of Deadpool. We got the Independence Day 4 trailer. We got the Star Trek trailer. We got Star Wars coming out. Lots of geek movie stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's a good time to be a geek, but I believe I've talked enough about trailers and things like that. SP, what do you got for us?
All right, a couple of things. First of all, we in June had a little mishap. And by we, I mean SpaceX. Yeah. They lost a rocket. Falcon 9, poof. Poof. And for those of you listening, I just did a big poof with my hands going wide. Okay. So they did a little accident investigation. They found out it was a spar in the upper stage that went bad, and that was what's wrong with it. They fixed the problem. They're getting ready to launch. As we're podcasting today, Monday the 14th, they're set to go on Saturday the 19th to launch several communication satellites, and then in January they will be launching back to the International Space Station with a cargo that includes an inflatable HAB unit. So I can't wait to see
that.
Doll. Well, the guys up there kind of need some entertainment, so you never know what's up there. But the interesting part about this, in addition to their return to spaceflight, is also that, remember, they tried to land the first stage on the barge in the ocean. You remember that?
Yes, I remember that.
Okay, so what they're not going to do that this time around. What they're going to try to do is they're going to try to land it back at Cape Canaveral if they can get the proper FAA approvals. So they just got a couple of days left to get those approvals, and they're going to try to landing it on land now instead of out in the sea to get that booster back. Now, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, okay, it might be better than trying to hit a barge in the middle of the ocean, but you might actually hit something like a launch pad or something like that. So I don't know. I mean, the fuel's going to be expended, but you could still wreck something with that big mass coming back down on it. So we'll see what happens.
That'll be a fun little adventure.
Yeah, like I said, we'll see. Even if they don't get the FAA approval, they can't try. But if they do try, it'll be interesting to hear what happens, because of course they won't be advertising it anywhere. Except for, actually, I didn't think about that. Now that it's on land, I'll bet you there's going to be a bunch of space spotters with those gigantic high-speed cameras trying to catch it coming back down. That would be interesting.
That could be pretty cool.
Yeah. So we got that going on, and hopefully in the new year we'll be able to report back on how that went. But also, just breaking today, the FAA, our buddies over there in the FAA that are also trying to approve this Falcon 9 coming back to Earth are they're doing a little civil war. Yep. They're making sure that everybody has to register. Yeah. If you have a drone, you're registering. You have 1 month to do it for free. After that, it's $5. And the reason they say it's $5 as a drone operator is because they need to establish the generator. Or establish the database, not the generator.
Gotcha. I was like, what did you mean by that, SP? I'm like,
I went to Battlefront. I was in the Battlefront with the training mission that you had to protect the generator. I have no idea why it just went there. So there you go. You got Star Wars on the brain, including Battlefront. But so drone registration, they're mandating it, and I get where they're coming. And so you're paying $5 basically for them if you manage to do something wrong, for them to come back and fine you like $1,100 per instance. I'm like, why am I going to pay $5? Why? I mean, what's the fee going to be if I don't register and they can't find me?
Well, I guess the question is, what do they do to you if you don't register and they then find you after you do something?
Yeah. Dude, can they confiscate your $3,000-$4,000 drone?
Well, that's probably happening anyways, but I'm sure there's some kind of fine or something, or potentially charges that get pressed upon you if you have not registered and are flying said drone.
Look, you need a permit, or you need to register to drive a car. In Canada, you need to register to have a gun.
You don't need to register to have a kid.
No, but they should, to be quite honest.
You heard it here, folks. JS says you have to register to procreate.
Another thing to consider is if you're a ham radio operator, you pay a lot more in licensing and things like that than you do to be a drone pilot right now. I heard that as I was watching the Daily Tech News show today.
Because you can cause so much trouble.
Yes.
You can cause a lot of trouble with those device radios and drone. It's okay. Like we live in a world where most people are stupid. No, it's true. And most of those stupid people make more money than we do. Unfortunately, that's the way the world works. And you need laws to control stupid people. I'm going to sound like a horrible person, but that's really what the point of laws are. It's because people are stupid and they put fireworks up their ass and they shoot at each other with those fireworks. There's reasons why there's laws, because it ends up costing money to other people. That's really what it is, guys. Like, that's why laws exist. Because in the end, we don't want other people who don't deserve to pay to have to pay for the stupid things you do. That and it's morally incorrect to steal or kill.
So the rules are you can't go above 400 feet, I believe, and 400 feet AGL, and you can't go within 5 miles of an airport. And the stats that I saw on the New York Times article that reported this, I believe they were one of the first to report this morning, said they expected 700,000 drones to be purchased during this holiday season.
Oh, yeah. They're huge now.
They also reported that there was about 100 near drone misses reported by pilots each month.
Imagine what would happen if one of those things hit an airliner that's taking off.
It depends on where it hit it, honestly. But yeah, if they hit it in a catastrophic place, you're right. It like Airport 77, right, where it hits the window. Yeah, that would not be good.
Or remember Sully Sullenberger, who landed the plane in the Hudson after birds came up into the engine
bird strikes,
and took it out. Now, I think a drone would be tougher on an engine than a bird strike. There's a lot more metal pieces and stuff in there.
You would okay, so if it's just one drone, right, you would lose one engine, so you'd be able to turn back. But still, yes, because most commercial airliners have at least two, if not four, fan jets, turbo fan jets, high bypass turbo fan jets.
Sure, I mean, there's reasons why those redundancies are there, and again, I completely agree. What's $5 and registering? Just pay the $5.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
especially when you think about the fact that your driver's license renewal fees are every 2 years in most cases. Well, every 2 to 5, depending on where you are. That's generally like $30 or $40. You got to register your vehicle. That's generally your personal property taxes plus a registration fee. So all these other things we have to register cost a lot more. You're paying $5 to fly your hobby drone. I don't think it's the end of the world, folks.
Let's not forget the hobby drone that didn't cost you $2. It cost you like minimum $2,000. I think an extra $5 tax. You know what? They should just tax you at where you purchase it.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like we're talking about I went to Toys R Us and bought the $35 drone that I can fly inside and outside and has an El Cheapo video camera built in it. We're talking like those DJI Phantoms that are heavy duty with gimbals on them that they're hanging like GoPros off of. And there's some really cool applications for some of those. Like a lot of like the extreme sports folks and things like that have got it set up where they can have a drone follow them as they're snowboarding and stuff like that. That's really cool. And there's great opportunities for feature films, documentaries, and stuff like that where they use drones to get angles you could never get. The applications are there. We just need to be smart about it. And for $5 to make sure you're registered and that if you do screw up, you're kind of held responsible because you could really mess something up for someone. I don't think it's a bad thing. But if you do, send me your hate mail, chris@gonnageek.com. I'll gladly take it and read it on the air.
So I saw an interview tonight with one of the guys from, I believe it's AMA, the American Modelers Association that flies model aircrafts, right? And he was just looking straight at the camera. He said, name me one thing. Well, name me 5 things that the government has done that is beneficial. Name me 5 things that they haven't screwed up. So, okay, fair enough. But like JS said, I will agree with it.
Are you kidding me? Are you really kidding me? How about World War II? How about how about the human rights, charter? It's so easy that's one thing I can't, I live in Canada. Hospitals are free. Free. Like, what do you mean? Name one thing the government. American people like surprise me in the. It's so incredible. You guys are so the first to and the quickest to say you're the best in the world. Do you really think you'd be the best in the world without your government? Honestly, like really,
we're not the best in the world anymore. Do you ever watch the newsroom? Yes.
Okay, your government put a person on the moon.
Yeah. 12 people, actually.
And if you don't believe in that, they faked a moon landing and convinced the rest of the world. Well, that's a pretty big achievement.
To be fair, the Mythbusters proved, to the best of their knowledge, that the moon landing was real.
But the conspiracy theorists now say that Mythbusters is a propaganda tool to... you never heard about this?
It doesn't shock me, but I have not heard about it.
They're saying that it is the biggest propaganda tool to break...
The paranoia of the average person, it's just amazing. There's no trust in the society
and this
anymore.
Is why you need to give people permits.
So I love how we went from talking about drone permits and licensing to government conspiracy theories. This was actually a pretty fun transition into things. But before we move off this topic, if you have any thoughts on what you think about drone licensing, the use of drones and things like that, why don't you let us know? Hit us up, tweet us at GonnaGeek on Twitter, head on over to Facebook at facebook.com/GonnaGeek, or you could even go to the forums over at GonnaGeek.com. Let us know what you think about this topic, and while you're there, go check out all the awesome posts that are there, the awesome shows that we have on the podcast network. And if you really, really feel like you need to get your voice heard about something we've said, or you just want to chat with us, give us a call on the Gonna Geek voicemail at 567-343-GEEK. That's 567-343-4335.
We want to hear from you.
We do.
We do.
And real quick before we transition to the next thing, don't forget, we are part of the network. If you get a chance, go check out the final episode of Unqualified Gamers. It's a lot of fun. We've plugged on a lot of other shows, and you probably heard us talk about it before. So just a quick reminder, head on over to GonnaGeekNetwork.com. Check out Cody and John's final episode of Unqualified Gamers before they rebrand in the new year.
And the Caseys take over Unqualified Gamers.
They do.
All right. You ready to go to our next segment?
Let's do it. So, I'm going to apologize, guys. You're probably getting tired of hearing me talking. Now you're going to hear it even more because we're launching a new segment of mine over here on the official GonnaGeek.com podcast that we're going to call unofficially Chris's App Review segment, because I have an iOS tablet, an Android phone, a Windows tablet. So basically, I can play with apps on all sides of the world. So the first app I want to tell you about that I found ties into some software I actually have on my PC. I think JS has talked about this before. How do you all keep track of your DVDs and your Blu-rays at home? Do you guys use software? Do you put it in a spreadsheet? How do you do it?
It's just in my head. That's it.
In your head. What about you, JS? Do you use any software to track your DVDs?
I do. I believe I use the same software as you. I use DVD Profiler from Invelos.
That's right. I've been using DVD Profiler, and this is not a plug for them or anything. They're not paying me. It's just a software I've been using for probably 4 or 5 years now on the Windows side of things to track all my DVD and Blu-ray purchases. You can put in the UPC number on the back, catalog when you bought it, where you bought it, and how much it was, and you basically have a running catalog of every DVD and Blu-ray you own. It's a very powerful tool for keeping track of things.
And it's amazing. They've been around for such a long time. I think I registered originally either 2004 or 2006.
That could be about the same time they launched.
And it's a one-time upgrade fee. It's a one-time membership fee. You pay once and you always get the new version, which is a lot better than Comic Collector, which is a software as well. I don't remember. I think it's Collector Z that makes.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And they charge for every single update, which is
What's really cool about DVD Profiler, I found, is that the database is maintained by the community. So you've got users that go in there and update to say, oh, here's the special features on this disc. Here's the Easter eggs you can unlock. So there's updates happening daily to all of these profiles for your DVDs and Blu-rays. It's really cool. And I knew a while back they'd put out a Windows app for like Windows Mobile and things like that. I did not have Windows Mobile, so I didn't buy it. And then I found out about 2 years ago they had a iOS app out for DVD Profiler. I had not picked it up because the only way to sync it was to plug into your computer and sync manually that way. So I went, nah, I'm not going to do that. So I'm trolling around the iOS app store probably about 2-3 weeks ago, and I see DVD Profiler on sale. I go, that's the same software I use to track all my DVDs and Blu-rays. Let me pop that open and see what's changed. And I see now that you can sync via their website because I back up everything to their website. It's an awesome, powerful tool that way. They have now set it up so that their iOS and Android apps will pull down your backups from the website and display them all on your phones.
Yeah, and you also get, when you buy a membership, you also get a like a dedicated web page with your whole database, which is really
right.
Cool.
I could give you guys a web page right now, and JS did in our group chat here in the Gunny Geek side of things, that is literally a listing of every DVD and Blu-ray I own. I give it to my dad, so come Christmas time, he can see what I already have in my collection, so if he wants to get me a Blu-ray, I don't have two in the collection. You can put your wish list on here. But what's really cool is the way they have set up these apps for both iOS and Android is, when I go and buy new DVDs and Blu-rays now, I just flip the case over, I turn on the camera, and I scan the UPC code. It pulls everything in and populates all the information to add to the database. I can add it on the app, and when I'm done, back it all up to my cloud account. Incredibly powerful and convenient tool for tracking everything in my DVD collection. Now, when I got the apps, I think they were on sale for $2.99 a piece for iOS and Android. The regular price, I want to say, is $4.99. $3.99. So it's not bad. If you do the Google surveys in the Android side of the house, you're basically playing with free money after you've done about 5 or 6 surveys. So you can go and buy this app. If you've been looking for a way to try and maintain your DVD collection and know what's there, JS and I both use this software. We've both been really impressed with it. I've been a customer for years, and I really do like their iOS and Android apps they've put out. I would not be shocked to see a Windows version that comes out and plays nice on tablets. And most Windows 10 stuff, you could just download the full-blown application and run it, though.
Yeah, it's a really good software. I had the iPad version also, which was really, really cool. So what I would do is when I would want to watch something, I didn't have to walk to the 6 shelves of DVDs that I had. I could just pull up the app, and then you can sort like, oh, today I want to watch comedy and I want this actor. You could put filters and stuff. It's a really, really, really well-maintained software. And like Chris said, it's maintained by the community. So say I'm from Canada, so a lot of the UPC codes are different, especially in Quebec, because the DVDs that that are sold here have to have like French on it most of the time. So a lot of the other softwares never have the covers or the UPC codes or the SKUs for those discs. And I got to say, there's not many discs in my collection that don't have the proper data or the proper imaging, due to the community that updates it. And the forum community is amazing. I had a problem maybe 5-6 years ago that I couldn't resolve. The community, I ended up posting on the community, and it got replied and really quickly. It's really cool.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with it. So they do have a trial version available, the Windows ones. So if you've been wanting to play around with something to track it, I'd encourage you to give it a try because it plays nice with both of their apps in the iOS and Android ecosystems.
Does it have any capability for your digital media that you have purchased through Amazon?
No, it doesn't
iTunes?
track any of that I have seen.
No, it doesn't. You could always probably add it. Let me just make sure.
Can you put Blu-rays in it, or is it just DVDs?
It's any kind of media. I had HD DVDs in it. I have Blu-rays, HD DVDs, all sorts of any kind of physical content.
VHS tapes in there?
I don't know if they do VHS.
Can you do Betamax tapes?
I somehow doubt you can do the
Can
Betamax
you do laser
tapes.
discs?
You can do laser discs. I have laser discs in it.
Nice.
Yep.
Impressive.
Yeah, it's pretty good software for the price. I have to say, I think it's the software there's not like that has been on like every single computer unit that I own for the last 7 to 8 years. I install that software on every one of my devices.
Yeah, it's been must-have for me. I even had it running on one of my netbooks at one point in time with minimal issue.
Yeah, it's never really had any issues.
I've got Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say they haven't made major modifications to the software in a while. It's updated frequently, but the versioning hasn't changed in I would say 2 to 3 years. But it's pretty good. I mean, I'd share my screen and show you guys. There's so many options. It's very detailed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really is. So, like I said, if you're really interested in that, you can check out the show notes or just go to Invelos.com and take a look at it. This is not a paid promotion or anything. It's just an app I use that I like to run with.
I would love to get paid by these people. They run good software.
They do. I've been impressed with it. But I think it's probably time for us to start wrapping things up. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it's time to walk this one out because then Steven has to edit.
So before we get out of here, I wanted to ask you guys real quick. We know Star Wars comes out on Friday. Well, Thursday, technically. When are you guys going to go see Star Wars?
I'm going to go Sunday. Nobody's
Sunday?
going to go on Sunday. Yeah.
Do you have advance tickets or are you just going to chance it?
I'll chance it.
You should be fine on Sunday, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to go Friday night, Eastern Time, 7:10 p.m.
Very specific. I'm going Friday night at like 8:30-ish Eastern Time. I didn't actually buy the tickets. The girlfriend surprised me with them because she hadn't been too interested in going, and then a bunch of her friends were going, so we got tickets that way. Because my original plan had been, we'll just go Sunday afternoon because things will have quieted down by then.
Yeah, for sure.
So I was on the same boat as JS on that one.
Yeah, I don't have to see it right away. I've passed the time where I have to see something immediately. You know what? You know what killed it for me? Episode 1, 2, and 3. Didn't care about seeing a movie the day it came out anymore.
I liked episode 1. I did. We've gone through that here before.
You also liked Elektra, so.
Well, who doesn't? That's a cute red outfit. Hubba hubba.
So you guys have any final thoughts before we get out of here?
I actually own a DVD copy of Dungeons and Dragons.
Nice. I've got a DVD of the cartoon Hobbit.
Oh, I have that too.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
Lord of the Rings as well.
So we got a lot of great things coming up. We got the holidays coming up, so it's going to be great having Steven back next week. And then having a relaxing holiday, isn't it?
It is the holiday season, so everyone enjoy having some time off. Enjoy time with your family. Go see some fun movies.
Star Wars.
Exactly. And from all of us here from the official GonnaGeek.com podcast, I think we're getting out of here. And I'm Chris Farrell.
I'm Stargate Pioneer.
And I'm the French Canadian sensation.
We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
From everyone here at the GonnaGeek.com podcast, thanks for listening. If you like what you heard, please give us a 5-star review on iTunes. We encourage you to send your feedback by email to podcast@GonnaGeek.com. You can find all of our show history at GonnaGeek.com/official-podcast. And while you're there, why not head over and check out all of the geeky podcasts on the Gonna Geek Network. The music heard on this show is by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com. Thanks for listening, and we will see you again next week.